And coming back to your question about the price thing, because I think you're right. That's a big barrier, right? I think what's encouraging is 5 years ago, 5, 10 years ago, you said ethical fashion, people would think overpriced brown paper bag, right? That was the
Basically, yeah.
and that's another reason why we wanted to, I guess, with Thread Harvest, introduce an option where items that are obviously fashionable, that look good, because at the end of the day, if it's not fashionable, someone might buy it once again, out of a pity buy, but they're not going to wear it, they're not going to feel connected to it. It'll ultimately be tossed out, and you just perpetuate the problem. So the
Yeah.
industry itself has to be challenging itself to do better in terms of, and that's exciting because we're seeing amazing fashion designers with these strong morals and ethics coming through. So the fashion side of ethical fashion has improved significantly over the years and will continue to do so. But the other good thing is, as more organizations and brands and individuals have come down this path, what you start to see is the economies of scale improve. Because if you're paying, living wages and you're producing more product, naturally the cost of it starts to come down. It's when you're doing, a few items that the cost is so significant. So the more organizations and brands that can be playing in this space, the more the costs will be coming down to a reasonable rate. Of course, it'll never be at the state where, the real fast fashion brand levels are. I mean, you've seen massive deflation in the fashion industry, to the point where clothes are cheaper today than they've ever been. It's like one of the few industries where the prices are actually continuing to come down.
Yeah.
So I think in that sense, what to do, I think, is to, yeah, look, be shopping around for items that you can. I think there's more options today that will be in your budget than ever before today. Also doing things like, I can't remember what wardrobe it's called, how they call it, but you basically, can't remember the term, but you buy certain items and through that you can mix and match items. So what you start to do is you buy less, but what's the term? It's really going to annoy me now. Anyway, I'll think of it later. But where you've got, like, 3 or 4 shirts and 3 or 4 sets of pants and maybe 2 or 3 pairs of shoes and a closet wardrobe. No, that's not what it is. And you can kind of mix and match the items so that you've got these few items, but they look like a completely different outfit depending on how you mix and match them.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. So that kind
so
of like minimalism where it's like a basic that you could reuse it for other things.
exactly. So yeah. So getting a couple basics, couple different jackets, and you mix and match them, and you've only got like a handful of items, but every day you're looking different because of the way that you've mixed the items. So that's, I'll figure out the term and I'll let you know what it is when I can't believe I've gone blank now. And then one other thing which I think is exciting, which is what we're doing with you guys, is we're launching the Re-Inspired Threads going into op shopping. And I think that's a great way to go because it's affordable. You're obviously purchasing items, that are secondhand, so you're essentially saving them from landfill, and it's obviously affordable, and you can get some great bargains. I mean, with we've partnered with yourselves, with Abbottsley, with Knox, and there's some great items coming through there, real quality brands that you can be getting at a real bargain off a budget.
Mm.
And essentially, you're doing so much good through op shopping. And I know that's become really popular just over the last few years among millennials and sort of our generation looking to make an impact on a budget.
Yeah.
But you can get some great product. And by us launching this online, we're looking to make it more accessible. So those are a couple things we'll be
Yeah.
doing to keep moving down the path.
I agree. I mean, I there are a lot of points which I think are really cool there, but a couple which I wanted to touch on was like you said, like you buy a couple of things and if you style them in various different ways, it can look completely different. And I think that is such a simple message, but people just don't hear it enough because of, increasing like consumerism and, to put it casually, like wanting to flex on other people. We've created, especially my generation, I do think that this is a big problem. This false idea that almost like you can't be seen in the same thing twice, because that might insinuate that, you're running out of clothes, and, like, you're not rich enough or cool enough, or you don't have the same sense of style. And, every single time you have to go out, you have to be wearing something different, something trendy. And it's a really stupid mindset, honestly, because no one in their right mind, is going to wear something completely different every day for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And especially, like that, is really what's driving the force behind things like
Mm,
fast
mm,
fashion, where you can just buy a brand new top on, some place like Shein for like $3, and
mm.
it's there the next day, and you don't have to worry about it. But like, at what cost? Not for you, but for those other
Yeah.
people who could be exploited. And but I do think a good thing that we've kind of come to the realization is the utilization of things like thrift shopping, and buying secondhand. And uh, also like to push the point of buying from small businesses as well, which are generally a lot more sustainable than those massive
100%.
chain corporations, where you are supporting a person who has put genuine time, effort, and care into making
Mm,
products. And things like even like jewelry and makeup and
mm,
things like that. It can be a lot better to do those. And it's really fun kind of going on things like
mm.
Etsy or Depop, and seeing people actually like make stuff, and like they're doing it properly. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's things that you like. So personally, I think people can make that shift towards um, these options that are potentially more cost effective, because
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
they are better quality and better priced than your what's it called, your chain brands that are in the shops and
Exactly.
stuff like that.
And I think it's more rewarding, right? I think you touched
Definitely.
on an interesting item as we, so much of, like you said, that purchasing items that we need. I think once again that's driven out of that feeling. I don't
Mm,
want to be seen. I don't want to feel average. So I need to look new, have something new, and so I'm always trying to be ahead of the curve, and that's really what's driving that. But
mm,
I can't remember who said it, but I think it was like some philosopher, but he was like, when I was in my 20s, I thought everyone was thinking about me. In terms of everyone else was thinking about me. When I got to my 40s, I stopped caring what everyone was thinking about me. And
mm.
when I got into my 60s, I realized actually no one was thinking about me at all. Everyone was
Yeah.
worrying about themselves. And that's the thing. We're all sort of wondering, like worrying, what is everyone thinking about me? Um, and actually no one's thinking about you. They're worried and concerned about themselves. And it's
Yeah.
freeing when you start to realize, oh wow, everyone's just freaking out about that in that sense. And so and then in terms of your point, in terms of purchasing better items, I think what's so important is connecting. What we love doing at Thread Harvest is we refer to ourselves as storytellers. We like telling the stories of our brands, because when you connect with the story behind a brand, there's almost like a spiritual connection. So when you're purchasing a product and you're realizing, oh wow, this product's been made by someone who was, getting out of sex trafficking, and this has provided work for them, and it's been done with, materials that were produced, repurposed from like bomb fragments, and melted down and now produced into this jewelry. All of a sudden, you have this like deep, intimate connection with it.
Yeah.
And it's that connection that I think will also help slow down the fast fashion, because if I'm connected to what I'm wearing and there's a story behind it, and now I'm part of that story because I'm wearing it and I love to share that story, well, I'm not just going to wear this once and toss it away. I'm going to wear it with pride, and it's almost going to become a part of who I am and my story. And I think the more we can be connecting to the stories of the brand, what started them, why they started, the more we can connect with that, the more we'll connect to the clothing. It'll last longer. It's generally, like you said, better quality. And yeah, if we can be building, like becoming more creative in terms of how we use our wardrobe, how we thrift shop, how we capsule. That's the word, capsule wardrobe. It's
Yes. Yes. I know what
so
you mean.
like I knew it would come to me. Pairing different items and getting creative in how we use the few products or the few items that we have in our wardrobe. I mean, it's fun, it's exciting, it's fulfilling, it's satisfying. And that's ultimately what I think will bring about the change in the industry more and
Mm,
more as we also continue to reflect within and ask the question, what's driving my behavior and
yeah.
why is it driving it? And yeah,
Mm. And just one final question, just to wrap this up, and might end on a hopefully not too passive aggressive note, is you mentioned now, like, obviously it's an incredible thing how much the fashion industry has, changed and reshaped itself over the past couple of decades, now that people are becoming more aware of the problems within it and wanting to fix it. Obviously, understandably, a couple of those, big companies would have to undergo some backlash in order to make these reforms because, consumers drive the change. So how would you recommend that we can do that? Like, to put these pressures on the companies, but, I know some people are concerned about not wanting to be too aggressive in that factor because they know, some people are just working there because they are just trying to, get by. They're just working there because they like fashion and, that sort of things. They don't want to do harm to those people who are not uh, explicitly, doing the exploitation. They just want to get to the source of it, dismantle it, and then hopefully the rest of it will all fall into place. So, how do you recommend that we can do that?
it's a great question, Carton. And I think you're right. Like, I don't believe in boycotting because at the end of the day, even, let's think about the worst possible brand doing the most harm. They're still providing jobs and work. So if everyone had to stop buying from that brand, it would probably do a lot more harm than good.
Yeah.
So what we want to see is a gradual kind of shift. And one of the thing that one of the greatest insights or the lessons that my mentor taught me was you criticize the bad with practice of the better. And so what that means is, like, in terms of looking at companies, yes, we can petition, we can what's the word? Not strike. That's what other people do. We can, we can take out placards and have a go at organizations. But the best way to criticize is by practicing better. For us, instead of throwing stones at the fashion industry, what we said was, well, let's see if we can do it better. Let's see if we can come up with new products, new ways of doing it that ultimately show that there's a better way to be doing it and shifts not just the consumer mindset but all the company's mindsets and starts to move people down this path. And so for, I guess, individuals at home, it is about how can I change the way that how can I be supporting local, where can I be maybe looking into thrift shopping and what that looks like. It's making these little decisions, these little changes that ultimately lead to more significant ones. Maybe it's starting a business, maybe starting I'm sure there's some amazing entrepreneurs there starting your own brand and really investigating the industry. It's so exciting. We're also going into the uniform space now, and we've just signed a contract with Bank Australia. They're a B Corp, very ethical bank.
Oh, wow, that's
And
so
and
amazing.
we're producing. They want us to redevelop their whole uniform from them in line with our ethics and standards. So the fact that a bank has said we're going to change the way that we
Wow.
produce our uniforms, you can see it's we're working, and the banking industry is starting to reform, and that's because of decisions that we're making that's forcing the change at the end of the day. So by practicing the better, we can continue to shift the industry down this path that it's going by coming up with new businesses, new ideas, giving people more options, improving the quality, improving, the look, the feel, the price, all these things. Ultimately, the industry will continue to move this way, and you will start to see a shift from the bigger organizations to the little ones. And as well as even within the bigger ones, the ones that start adopting these practices, hopefully we'll see more people wanting to purchase
Mm.
from them, and ultimately that forcing the change on these organizations to shift the way that they work and operate, and bringing greater accountability. So we all have that power and ability to make that decision and make that change.
Yeah. Well, thank you for making my question uh, make sense and ending it on a sad sort of unhappy note. I think you are exceptionally good at bringing things back around to the positive while still acknowledging flaws and things like that. Something I definitely need to work on.
Oh, we'll need to work on that. We're all on a journey. We're all at different stages, and if we can all just realize, actually, we're all trying to do our best, and let's just have a conversation. Let's be teachable. Let's be open. We can continue to move forward, and we're making incredible progress as a human race. I think we're living in the best time in the history of the world. I know a lot of people don't think that, but you just got to go read some books, some history books, to realize how far we've come. And like I said, seeing your generation, seeing the likes of yourself ask these sorts of questions with such clarity, and such articulation, and to be engaging your friends in this is huge, Carton. This is massive. This is no small thing, and I think the future is looking incredible. The present's looking good, and the future is looking incredibly bright and optimistic at the same time.
Well, thank you so much, Devon, for your insight. It has been incredibly valuable, and thank you even more for doing what you do, and creating these foundations for our generation and for people in the future to be better, and make these more productive conversations, and thought out decisions as well. Like, it's something amazing that you are doing. And as soon as Re-Inspired Threads fully launches, you must send me the link so I can put it in my thing at the bottom, and so people can go and see it.
Certainly. Well, we're launching on the 16th of August, so next Friday.
Very exciting.
But I'll send you a link. But no, look, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having the courage to start this business and this movement of yours. And really appreciate it. It means a lot. And excited to see where you go and how you continue on your journey. I think you've got a very bright future ahead of you, Carton.
Thank you so much for your time today, Davin. And if you want to find out more about sustainable fashion and things like capsule wardrobing, and I don't think I said that phrase right, but it's okay. Capsule clothing, sorts of things like that, I will be sure to include some informative links down the bottom, maybe some videos and stuff, and I will edit this post later to include Re-Inspired Threads up there as well. So yes, thank you for joining me, and we will speak soon, hopefully.
Thanks, Cotton. Much appreciated.